My sister-in-law asked for a spare key to our house, and I said no. Then it went missing. When I visited her apartment to retrieve it, I was stunned by what I found. I recently married my partner of 6 years. We're both 27. While the pandemic slowed our careers a bit, we're navigating it together. My husband isn't close to his family. He's never explained why, but I've pieced together that he and his sister have unresolved conflicts. This tension led his parents to take her side, and since then, he's distanced himself from them. Honestly, it didn't bother me much. Coming from a big family, I often included my husband in our family events since we'd been together so long. After these gatherings, I noticed he became quiet, sad, and withdrawn. When I tried discussing it, he stayed guarded, only saying he wished he had a better family. I could tell he longed for a stronger connection with them, but I didn't want to act without his consent. When I offered to reach out to his family, he said he wasn't ready and that the right time would come. I thought our wedding might be that moment. We had a small wedding with only close friends and my family. My husband didn't invite anyone from his side, though I'd met his parents and sister before. During the ceremony, his family showed up uninvited, despite his clear instructions to stay away. They caused a scene, accusing him of ignoring their calls, texts, and not visiting his mother during her cancer treatment. My husband firmly asked them to leave. His sister stood quietly in the corner, and when our eyes met, she gave a small shrug as if to say, "What else could we do?" After they were escorted out, the wedding continued smoothly, and we were thrilled to be married despite the drama. On our way to our honeymoon, I got a friend request from my sister-in-law. It felt strange, but I accepted it since we were family now. I didn't think much of it. When we returned, my husband and I were happily settling into our new home and married life. That's when my sister-in-law re-entered the picture. She texted me saying she knew I valued family, unlike my husband, and thanked me for helping mend their family ties. She mentioned his immaturity, but assured me we could fix things together if we collaborated. I was naive and believed her. We started chatting regularly, and she visited our house once or twice when my husband wasn't home, wanting to connect. Since I work from home and have health issues, I couldn't always avoid her. During one visit, she asked for a copy of our house key. It struck me as odd. When I asked why, she said she was worried about me being alone all day and that a key would let her help in an emergency. Her reasoning made sense for a medical crisis, but something felt off. Her request unsettled me, though I couldn't pinpoint why. I politely declined, saying I'd call my husband if anything happened. She didn't seem happy with my refusal and left abruptly, her smile not reaching her eyes, which made me uneasy. After that, I stopped inviting her over and made excuses to keep her away. But one day, she showed up anyway. I was on edge the whole time she was there. When she finally left after staying for tea, I felt relieved. But not for long. A few days later, I noticed our house keys were missing from their usual spot. Panic set in. I decided to visit my sister-in-law's apartment to confront her. She'd given me her address early on, inviting me for tea, though I hadn't gone due to my health. As soon as my husband got home, I drove to her place and knocked. A man answered and said no one by her name lived there. I showed him her picture, but he insisted she didn't reside there and suggested I had the wrong address. This felt deeply suspicious. I casually texted her, asking for her address again, and she sent the same one as before. Now I was truly alarmed. I went home trying to act normal, but my husband could tell I was shaken. For 2 days, he's been asking what's wrong, but I don't know how to tell him. I'm worried he'll be upset with me, but I know I need to be honest. I keep wondering if this is my fault for engaging with his sister. If I hadn't, the keys wouldn't have gone missing. I just wanted to help. I know I need to tell my husband everything. I see now that I was foolish to hide this from him. I should have been upfront, and I understand why some might see me as the wrongdoer here, though others might think I'm not entirely to blame. Tonight, I'll do the right thing and tell him everything. I'll keep you updated, and I appreciate the honesty in pointing out my mistakes. The conversation went better than I expected. When my husband got home, I said we needed to talk. He seemed relieved. I explained everything, how his sister contacted me after our honeymoon, saying I could help repair their family by staying in touch with her and slowly reintroducing her and his parents into his life. I admitted I didn't mean to hide anything or go against him, but I was afraid he'd stop me. Since he never shared why he distanced himself from his family, I tried to fix things on my own. He listened without interrupting. When I finished, he said he was disappointed I kept this from him for so long. He said I should have asked him about his family, and now that we're married, he would have told me everything. He explained that he hadn't shared earlier because he feared his family might turn me against him. He then shared the full story. His father is a selfish, abusive man who's always been that way. His sister inherited this trait, appearing charming and empathetic, but being deeply self-centered. My husband recognized this toxic dynamic as soon as he was old enough. His parents stayed together to avoid the hassle of divorce. When his sister got into trouble at school, his mother enabled her behavior, making it worse. Over time, his sister became more aggressive and disrespectful. When she started college, she fought with their parents, who were paying her tuition but also saving for my husband's education. She demanded they give her the money as spending cash, arguing that my husband, as a man, could work his way through college like their father had. She claimed she was too delicate for that. Eventually, his college fund dwindled. He didn't know this initially, but when it was time for his college applications, he learned the truth. When his sister suggested he just work to pay for school, he cut contact with them. He started going no contact at 19, and by 23, it was permanent. Hearing this, I realized how reckless I was to let his sister into our home. My husband also revealed that his mother had repeatedly asked him for money over the years, despite his sister seeming well off. He later learned from a relative that his sister struggled with drug use. That's when I connected the dots about the missing keys. My husband urged me to call a locksmith immediately to change the locks, worried his sister might try to enter our home. I blocked her on all platforms and social media. We had the locks changed, and I felt much better afterward. My job later required me to work in the office on Wednesdays and Fridays. One Friday, I returned home to find my husband already there. Our neighbor, a kind elderly woman, had seen a suspicious young woman matching his sister's description trying to enter our house. She called the police, who detained her. My husband chose not to press charges but is pursuing a restraining order for our safety. Looking back, I see how naive I was to trust so easily. My intention was to help my husband, but I was presumptuous. Why didn't I tell him everything instead of hiding it? Keeping secrets would hurt him more than my talks with his sister. I was wrong for ignoring his wishes and pursuing my own agenda. Now consider another scenario. My wife Karen, 78, and I, 71, spend winters in Florida and summers in Connecticut. Our daughter Kara and her husband Sean live in Massachusetts. Kara is expecting their first child in March. In September, my stepson helped Kara and Sean install new kitchen floors in their nearly century-old home. I offered to assist. Though I'm not a contractor, I'm skilled in home repairs. I was only supposed to lay the floors, but during the demolition, I suggested removing some cabinets to ensure proper installation. I offered to help with prep work on weekends and returned from Florida in November to build and install new cabinets. They agreed. As new homeowners, Kara and Sean aren't very handy, but were eager to start. During demolition, we found decaying horsehair plaster in the walls, which was a nasty surprise. By the weekend's end, only 10% of the flooring was done, the stove wasn't connected, and the kitchen was a mess. I told them to plaster the walls during the week, and I'd return the next weekend. On Tuesday, they called in a panic, saying the plaster was a disaster. Kara, stressed about her pregnancy, felt overwhelmed. I told them to hold off, but Kara said I misled them, that the project had spiraled, and I should take responsibility, not financially, but for my role. I reminded them they agreed to remove the cabinets, and it wasn't my house. They eventually paid me for my work and hired a contractor, saying I couldn't handle a project this big, especially since I work full-time and help my stepson with his house flipping. They doubted I'd return from Florida to finish, and Kara was uneasy working while pregnant. I disagreed, but was hurt when they let me go. Since then, things have been strained. I haven't reached out about the kitchen or the baby, though I get occasional updates. Karen has asked about the baby several times. Recently, Kara called saying the situation has been awful. They needed permits and they've been without a stove or sink for months. She accused me of not caring about her health or our grandchild since I haven't checked in or taken charge. I laughed and said I'd have finished it by now. She texted Karen and me, telling us not to contact her and expressing her anger. Karen declined Kara's baby shower invitation in January and canceled our visit without telling them. Sean called, asking us to reconsider, noting this is their first child and Kara, at 6.5 months pregnant, didn't mean what she said. He offered to pay for our travel. Karen and I held firm, saying they should give us more notice and we might visit in March before or after the baby arrives. Kara is heartbroken, but we were just respecting her wishes. Now I wonder if I'm wrong in so many ways. I'm not a contractor, yet I pushed them to overhaul their kitchen, left it barely started, and then stepped back, saying, it's not my problem. Kara's feelings are valid. They've invited me to the baby shower. Should I go and apologize? Now, another situation. My husband and I raised 3 children into successful adults, and I'm proud of them. They were great kids who became good people. When my eldest daughter married a widower with a 2-year-old, we set up an education fund for that child, as we did for our biological grandchildren. We know a bit about investing, and starting early lets us save small amounts monthly. By high school graduation, it's enough to help them start life. My oldest grandchild recently graduated high school, and we covered their tuition and fees, ensuring they graduated debt-free. We don't give money directly but pay for expenses. We learned this from our youngest, our son, who received scholarship money and spent what we gave him. He later chose a trade career and now runs a successful business. He was previously married with 2 children, but it didn't work out. Last year, he married a wonderful woman with a 15-year-old son. She had him young, causing a rift with her family, who didn't attend the wedding. My son asked us to contribute to his stepson's education. After discussion, my husband and I offered $5,000, all we could afford. My son was disappointed, knowing our other grandchildren's funds cover at least 2.5 years of in-state tuition. While he earns well, he spends heavily on toys and trips, and I doubt he or his wife saved for his stepson's college. The $5,000 came from my car replacement fund. They're planning for the stepson's June graduation, but keep saying I treat him differently. I admit we are, but we didn't have nearly 2 decades to save for him. I may not have explained this well. My son's financial strain is due to his spending habits before this marriage. I discussed it with my husband and kids. My son wants us to take money from his biological children's accounts to start one for his stepson. We offered to split those 2 accounts into 3, including the $5,000, and keep contributing until they're depleted. He's still unhappy, but we didn't have the same 15-year head start for this grandchild. He can't be mad at us for not doing more now. It's his job to provide for his family. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and stay tuned for more real-life experiences.